two circles. So some vocabulary you need is, this is the center of the circle. The radius is from the center to the circle, and the diameter is all the way across, and it's always a radius plus a radius. So the diameter is 2 radiuses. Okay. The first formula we have for a circle, the equation of a circle, is this one here. So this one is called the center radius form equation. So if we have the center of the circle and the center has the point HK, say it's 2, 3, whatever the center is, it goes here. Okay, HK represent the center. Okay, so if I had the center 0.23, then my equation would look like this. Okay, because my center points go here. And then my radius goes here. So here's the radius. Say my radius was 3, then it would be 3 squared. Okay. But if the center of the circle is 0, 0, then if I put 0 in here and 0 in here, this is gone and I'm just left with x squared and left with y squared equals the radius. So here, if this radius is 5, then my equation, my circle equation for this is just that, because the center is 0, 0. Okay. So if the radius squared, if this number here is bigger than 0, which means it's positive, if this is a positive number, that means 5, 7, 10, 15, and then we're going to have a circle. If this is equal to 0, then it's just a point. There's no area in it. It's just a point. And if it's a negative number, say like negative 25 here, it means there is no circle. It's non-existent. It does not exist. Okay? So now, we have two things. We have the formula to find the center, or to find, we have the formula that's called the center radius formula. And if I'm given a question that looks like this, here is my center and here is my radius, what is the center radius form equation? So they're saying, what is the equation for this? All you do is you write out the center radius equation, and wherever the h and k are, you put in the numbers, the values for the center. So here h is -4, k is -1, and then the radius is 5, so you put 5 here. And here you have a negative and a negative, and that makes a positive. Negative and negative makes a positive. Okay, so we have that type of question. Then we also have another question that says, we have the center and we have a point on the circle. Okay, so what does that mean? That means here's my center, and then here's a point that's on the circle. Okay, and it says, find the radius. So here's my radius. Well, if you look, that's just 2 points, and I'm going to find the distance between those 2 points. And when I find the distance between those 2 points, it's the radius. So then I just use, oops, that's a mistake. Those numbers should be down here. When I find my distance, I use my distance formula. I just go -8 subtract -4, -4 subtract -1, blah, 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 blah. My distance is 5. So that means my radius is 5. So if you have to find the radius, use the distance formula. Okay? So now let's do some examples. Okay. So it says, find the radius of the circle with the center being this and a point on the circle being this. So first I'm going to just draw it so I can sort of see what it looks like. So that's 5, -2. So there's my center. and a point on the circle. So that's -7, 3. So that would be my radius. Let me see if I can try and draw a circle. There's my circle, kind of. And there's my point on the circle. And there's my center. So now I need to find my radius, which is really just the distance. So I'm going to write out my distance formula. I have to subtract my x values. Then I have to subtract my y values and take the square root. But I have to take it the second point first, then the first point. Okay? So let's call this point number 1, point number 2. So I'm going to take the x values and subtract them. -7 subtract 5. Now I'm going to do the y values. 3 subtract -2. Be careful, it's subtract a -2. Then I have to take the square root. That's -12 squared, 5 squared. Now be careful, if you don't use brackets in your calculator here, you're going to get the wrong answer. So when it's a negative squared, lazim, you must use brackets. (13). So that means the radius of this circle from here to here is 13. Radius equals 13. Okay, so the radius is 13. So let's do the other type of question. So it says, here's the center of my circle, and here's the radius. What is the center radius form equation? And then graph the circle. So I can graph the circle right away. And I like to do that first. 2, -8, there's my center. And it says the radius is 5, so I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, oops, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I'm going to make lots of circles to make it kind of look, I can't do good circles, so I just do lots. Okay, so I drew it. So now we need the center radius form equation. So I go x minus, let's just do x. X, and then the y, and then my radius is 5, so it's going to go here. HK, so I'm going to put 2 here and 8 here. But the signs are always going to be the opposite. So if this is 2, this is -2, and then if this is -8, it's going to be +8. Okay, so there's my equation. And you can look, there's my center, 2, -8. And oops, I need to change that to 25. So let's write this again. X minus 2 squared plus y plus 8 squared equals 25. So there is my center radius form equation. Let's do another one. So the center of the circle is this, HK. I don't know why they chose HK. And the radius is equal to 3. What is the center radius form equation? And graph the circle. So let's graph it now. -4 and 11. Oh no, it's off the graph. And the radius is 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So something like this. Okay, that's a bad circle, but it's okay. X. So my radius is 3, so it's 3 squared. I go -4, but really we do opposite. So it's +4, and here's 11, so I go -11. So x plus 4 squared. So there's my center radius form. Okay, let's look at the next one. So the center is 0, 0, and the radius is 3. Okay, let's draw it. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I'm doing these little jumps because I need to find, the radius is 3, and it helps me draw a nicer circle. There. So there's 2 different ways to do it. If you know the center is 0, 0, then you just go like this. and that's the radius. Okay, if you forget that, it's okay. You just go and you go, oh, it's 0, so these things disappear, so I'm left with x squared. Same thing. So you can remember that or not, and just use that. It's okay. All right, that's it.